Coming later this year will be one of our highest skill cap champs thus far, Katarina. She promises to pick the perfect time to strike with her deadly daggers and... Okay, alright, let me explain. When we're bringing champions over to Wild Rift, we want to keep their fantasies and playstyles intact. We only look to change abilities if they don't work on twin stick controls, or if there's a cool opportunity to really make them shine. In this case, it's both. We know from Katarina players that her fantasy comes from weaving her ult in and out of fights using Shunpo. But in our playtests, we saw that it ended up being super easy to cancel our ult accidentally with the joystick. So we tried letting Katarina slowly move and reposition while ulting, which ended up feeling really awesome on twin stick controls. Rolling in sometime after will be Rammus the Armadillo. We want to preserve Rammus's fantasy of gotta go fast, and saw an opportunity to wild drift. Rammus now passively rolls, gaining out of combat movement speed, and the twin stick controls give Rammus a new way to really zoom around the map. Rammus's new ultimate, Soaring Slam, enables him to leap into the air and create tremors where he lands. The size of the tremors are based on his powerball speed. With these changes, we're hoping Rammus can feel more than okay on Wild Rift.
They say I don't know when to quit. Like that's a weakness.
Xayah's passive is Clean Cuts. After casting an ability, Xayah's next few basic attacks are empowered, as indicated below her health bar. Each empowered basic attack will pierce through all enemies in their path, dealing reduced damage to targets other than the one you clicked on. They'll also leave a feather behind when they land. We'll talk more about feathers in a bit. When playing on the same team as her true love Rakan, Xayah gets a second passive, Lover's Leap.
Wait for me!
If either Xayah or Rakan is recalling, they can sync up to return to base together. Xayah's Q is Double Daggers. Xayah throws 2 blades in a line, damaging all enemies they hit, though, like her passive, they deal reduced damage for all targets beyond the first. The blades also leave a feather where they land. Xayah's Q and passive let her trade in lane while staying safely behind her own minions. After slicing up Thresh with a pair of blades, Clean Cuts kicks in to give her opponents an extra licking.
1,000 cuts is only the beginning.
Xayah's W is Deadly Plumage. Xayah conjures a storm of feather blades, increasing her attack speed and granting bonus damage to her next few basic attacks. If Xayah attacks an enemy champion while empowered by Deadly Plumage, she'll gain a short burst of movement speed as well. If Rakan is nearby when Xayah activates Deadly Plumage, he'll also gain the ability's effects. The best time to flaunt your Deadly Plumage is when an enemy overextends. When the Chain Warden whiffs a hook, Xayah uses her W's speed boost to make him really feel the sting of embarrassment.
Dodging seems to be a weak spot of yours.
Xayah's E is Blade Caller. She pulls in all nearby feathers, each dealing damage to any enemies they strike on the way. If a target is struck by at least 3 feathers, they'll be briefly rooted. One of the Rebels' bread and butter combos uses double daggers and a single well-aimed auto attack to set up Blade Caller's root. Here, Xayah waits until the loose cannon steps close and hits with the full Q auto E combo. Xayah's ultimate is Feather Storm. Xayah leaps into the air, becoming briefly untargetable. After a short delay, she hurls a storm of blades in a cone, each of which deals damage and leaves a feather upon landing. Xayah may continue to move while airborne. The cleanest Featherstorm plays abuse both its defensive and offensive power. Here, Xayah's taking a risk by playing rough with the rabble-rouser. She storms her way to safety just as Jin's W comes in, simultaneously setting up a field of feathers to ensure the fat man's demise.
As far as obstacles go, that was about a 3 out of 10.
Rakan's passive is Fey Feathers. His coat occasionally generates a shield, even in combat. Rakan can reduce Fey Feathers' cooldown by attacking and landing spells on enemy champions. When playing on the same team as his true love Xayah, Rakan gets a second passive, Lover's Leap. If either Xayah or Rakan is recalling, they can sync up to return to base together. Rakan's Q is Gleaming Quill, which slings an enchanted feather that damages the first enemy hit. If it connects with an enemy champion or epic monster, he primes the second part of the ability. After a few seconds, or when he touches an allied champion, Rakan heals all nearby allies. Gleaming Quill is Rakan's primary tool for winning quick trades in lane. Get a poke or two in with a quill and an auto attack, then touch base with your ally to spread the health. Rakan's W is Grand Entrance. He leaps forward, landing stylishly at his destination. After a brief, dramatic pause, he flourishes, knocking up and damaging all nearby opponents. When it's time to pick a fight, it's best to make a Grand Entrance. The knockup is wide enough that you can choose which side of your opponent to land on.
Can't stop me!
Rakan's E is Battle Dance. He leaps to an allied champion's side, giving them a shield to block damage. He can then cast Battle Dance a second time, even on the same target, before it goes on cooldown. If Xayah is the target of either charge, Rakan can leap to her position from a much greater distance.
Yeah.
Battle Dance is often the best way to get in position for Grand Entrance. Once you've baited out their panicked flash, use the second dance for a clean escape. Rakan's ultimate is the Quickness, which lasts a few seconds. While the Quickness is active, Rakan gains bonus movement speed and charms and damages all enemies he touches. He gains an additional burst of speed upon charming his first enemy champion. Enemies can only be afflicted once with the Quickness. Rakan's ult is a great tool for getting out of sticky situations. After he's gone in deep with Grand Entrance, the Quickness lets him make a graceful exit while leaving a trail of broken hearts in his wake.